This curry sauce is probably the best I've ever had. The best I've ever had. Holy hell, it's so good.
What's happening, guys? JET TILA here, and today I'm cooking with my good friend, Laura Vitale. Laura is an incredible chef with one of the world's most famous YouTube cooking shows called Laura in the Kitchen. She also hosts her own cooking channel show called Simply Laura. Laura grew up in Italy, cooking Italian food with her family, then brought her culinary talents here to the States. But today, it's all about Thai food. I sent Laura some of Thailand's best ingredients, and we're gonna be cooking Thai food together at home. Well, her in her home in Jersey, me in my home here in Los Angeles, but through the magic of Zoom, we're gonna be cooking together. Let's get started. What's happening, Laura? Thanks so much for hanging out with me cooking Thai food today.
I'm so excited. You know, I've been wanting to cook with you for a long time, and I'm thrilled, and I cannot wait to hear all of your tips and tricks to help me make really good Thai food.
I know you love green curry. I know you love Thai food. And I know you know your food. If anything, I think we'll be exchanging ideas and some cooking today. That sounds good.
Exactly what I was thinking.
All right, sounds good. So let's start with the green curry chicken. I'm gonna kind of show you step by step of how we do it in Thailand. And then what I would love is if you could take the same ingredients and show me something that's Laura style to kind of weave into this. A Thai-Italian bolognese, how does that sound?
Love it.
I think the first thing we're gonna start with is the green curry paste and the coconut milk.
I'll just follow along.
Brilliant. All right, so in terms of hardware, I think something wide like you have there, a Dutch oven is one of my favorite things. I'm gonna do the curry in a skillet. So I think let's just get our hardware heated up.
You got it.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is start with our coconut milk. The number one tip with coconut milk is don't ever shake the can. Although this can says shake well before use, no need, because in actuality, one can of coconut milk is 2 products. It's actually 3. If we don't touch the can and don't shake it, the top is coconut cream, the bottom is a kind of coconut milk, more water, but shaken together, it's coconut milk. So first thing is we're gonna grab the cream off the top, and then we're gonna put in probably a good 1/2 cup or so.
Okay.
And you have 2 cans there, you could just grab the cream only.
Okay, I'll grab the cream off of both cans, correct?
Correct, and what this is basically pure coconut oil. There's no reason to buy anything like coconut oil by itself because you have all that products in this can. The best coconut milk comes from Thailand, obviously. So the number one thing I want all our friends to check for is product of Thailand, and we're good to go. So are you sizzling over there? I hear you some sizzling happening.
I am. The pan was nice and hot. I added the top of the coconut milk of both cans.
Beautiful.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
Automatically, I think of wanting to sear my protein first. So why didn't you do that?
That's such a brilliant question. As you and I are classically trained cooks, you can sear protein and get the Maillard effect, which means browning, or you can poach protein, which gives you a nice tender protein. So what we're gonna do is when we get to the chicken, we'll slice it nice and thin, and because coconut oil has such a beautiful natural fat, it's gonna poach and become very tender. So we're not looking for browning, we're looking for more of a soft chicken. So curry, how spicy are you, Laura?
I like it hot. I'm not
Okay,
I'm not worried.
you got it. So for about 2 cans of coconut milk, I'm looking at 3 to 4 tablespoons of green curry paste.
Okay.
And that's gonna go right in, and we get that in, and we're gonna rye the curry paste.
All right.
The secret to really delicious Thai curry is this step right here. It is a magic unknown step, but between cooks, we know we always brown your onions, you always saute your garlic, you're doing the same thing. So get it in there, get it really fragrant. Don't be scared of frying this stuff pretty hard.
I can see this is like doing really good things. I can see the sides are starting to get really brown. It's really thick. It smells incredible.
I'm gonna add my coconut milk in, Laura, because mine is separating. It's nice and
wow.
brown. So I'm gonna start adding the rest of my coconut milk because that's what I was looking for. So when you get to that point where the paste is brown, the oil has separated, and it's very fragrant, we're gonna just add the rest of the coconut milk.
I think I'm at the right spot because I can see the oil separating from everything else. So both cans?
Both cans is perfect. Okay, so Laura, in Thailand, we make curry paste out of herbs. And here is the base of all Thai curries, right here. I've got garlic, I've got shallots, lemongrass, kaffir limes, kaffir lime leaves, and galanga. If I took all these and I pounded it into a paste, that is my base. If I finish that paste with green chilies, guess what kind of curry I just made?
Makes sense.
Green.
You got green
There
curry.
you go. If I took red chilies or other, I would make red. If I added turmeric or curry powder, I'd make yellow. So that's the only difference. That's why, in my opinion, Thai curry is the most palate friendly because it's just made of herbs. There's no really harsh spices there.
I love it. I love it. I will say, it is one of those ingredients that I do think, even though there's very few ingredients to make curry paste, it is one of those ingredients that I feel like it's worth buying because it has everything in there. Like I can't find kaffir limes or kaffir lime leaves anywhere, so I don't have to worry about that if I'm just buying the green curry paste or any curry paste.
You're absolutely right. We're gonna fortify. So if you wanna take maybe 3 or 4 leaves of basil, and it can be either Thai basil or sweet basil or even Italian basil, you're just gonna take it, tear it, and then put it into the curry. We're just gonna fortify flavors now. If you can't find Thai basil, Italian basil is gonna work fine. And then if you can't find kaffir lime leaves or Thai lime leaves, a little lime zest will work. It's not the same thing, but it's better than having nothing. So just taking a knife and just carefully, coming in with really tight cuts. So I'm making them a lot more delicate, so when they add to the curry, they'll break down and they will add a lot of flavor to this curry. So, and on your end, if you have lime zest, go for it. If not, you're really covered because you have it in the curry paste. So is your curry at a boil, at a nice rolling boil?
Yes.
Brilliant, so that's all we're gonna do. Trivia question, Laura. What is the #1 starch that we eat curry with?
Rice, of course.
There it is. So it basically answers a big question I get all the time. Jet, how far do I reduce this curry? And it's very kind of simple. You reduce the curry to the point where it coats rice. And in French, we would call it nappe, right? And all that means is it reduces until it coats the back of a spoon. All right, veggies. You wanna cut some eggplant any way you would do for like a curry or a stew. I either do coins or half moon coins, or actually we'll take the eggplant like this, split it, take it half, split it in half again, and I'll kind of cut kind of medium dices. There's no wrong way to do it, I guess is the point. So let's do eggplant, onions, and bell peppers.
Yum.
How does that sound? Okay, so let's do a curry check. We should be close-ish to coats the back of a spoon. I'm using a silicone spatula, which works really well, and I'm gonna lift it up and let it cool a little bit. I'm gonna run a channel with my finger, and if the sauce doesn't run across that channel, I mean, that is about nappe. That is about the consistency that I'm always looking for to start adding things. How are you doing over there?
Mine is at that nappe stage, I can tell you that.
Is there an Italian word for nappe or like the sauce consistency?
My nonna would say vellutata, which means velvet.
Vellutata.
Yes. It should be thick and like velvet.
Perfect. So at vellutata, I'm not even gonna try. At nappe, I'll stick with French. Let's put our chicken in to start the poaching of it. And then in my mind, I'm always kind of thinking ahead. We have bell peppers, onions, which don't take too long to cook. I've already put the eggplant in as well. Once these ingredients get to the point where they're just cooked, we're gonna get into seasoning. I'm gonna start adding veggies now because the chicken was sliced so thin. The coconut milk is poaching it quite quickly. I'm gonna add the baby corn. And again, if you don't like baby corn, if you wanna add a fresh vegetable, feel free. I'm adding bell peppers and onions. I'm pretty much gonna get most of my veggies in and then start seasoning soon.
Beautiful. I'll take the bell peppers and onions. I added the baby corn.
Now let's talk about Thai food seasoning. Tell me about the Italians and the use of anchovy, because it is such a parallel between Italian cuisine and Thai cuisine with our love and our use of anchovies.
In southern Italy, I'm from Naples. My grandfather was a fisherman, so I grew up my whole life around fish, and anchovies was a really big part of it. So for me, I grew up cooking and eating anchovies my whole life, and it's such an important ingredient in my kitchen. That's where my love of fish sauce comes from. I think fish sauce is one of those ingredients that is probably king in your kitchen because of its versatility and because of the amazing salty umami flavor that it lends to everything. It's a salt that you can't replace by using regular table salt.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's season this curry. Thai food is 5 flavors, right? Hot, sour, salty, sweet, savory. Savory could be umami, can be whatever you want. So fish sauce is salt and it is umami, all right? So that's gonna just probably about a teaspoon. There's a lot of flavor that already comes out of the curry. So we've got salt and umami done. The next thing we're gonna deal with is sweet. So Laura, have you ever used or eaten palm sugar?
I never have, no.
It's a very simple sugar. It's not complex at all. When it's fresh, it's pliable, but if it's hard, it's still very good. Just cut it into small pieces. You can grate it. You can do whatever you want with it. It's important to know what all these ingredients taste like by themselves. Let's do some tasting notes.
Ooh, that's like a caramelly, mapley, actually like has flavor to it.
It has brilliant flavor. I think you nailed it. I think it tastes like maple sugar.
Yeah.
When you cut open a fresh coconut and that whiff that you get, which is kind of floral and aromatic, marry that with maple sugar and that's what palm sugar tastes like. Last ingredient we need to play with today is tamarind. Have you cooked with tamarind before?
I know about it, but I've never cooked before with it because I'm a little intimidated by it.
No need. So here is tamarind. It is a potted fruit that grows around the equator. Thai tamarind comes in 3 forms. You can eat the fruit by itself. You can get the block, which is just the fruit and seed. All the shells have been removed. My favorite way to get tamarind is Thai tamarind concentrate, and you have some right there. So I think it's important to taste these ingredients. Let's do some tasting notes.
Sour.
Woo! Woo! I'm awake.
Yeah.
But behind sour is fruity though. Go easy. I would say a half a teaspoon. Laura, I think we've made curry. I'm gonna plate up. I have a combination of rice here. I think a lot of people in the world already know what jasmine rice is. In Thailand, we call it homalit rice, which translates to fragrant jasmine rice. That I have here. I'm gonna show you a new rice called riceberry. And what it is basically a jasmine rice hybrid. You take jasmine rice and then you marry it with a Thai black or purple rice. It's a delicious rice. It's very nutty. It almost has a sweetness to it. So I'm gonna plate over both rice kind of in combo.
I'm gonna do the same.
And I'm gonna do one of these fancy things that one of the local restaurants here in LA does. I'm just gonna do a little 50-50, like what we would call a timbal.
Ah, so I did the same thing, but instead of doing it 50-50 like you did, I did one of the riceberry and one of the jasmine because I am a rice fanatic and I feel like especially in a curry, you cannot have enough. So I would very much like to have both. Thank you very much.
Hey!
There it is.
It did a yin and yang.
I love it.
All right, so you've got 2. You've done one of jasmine and one of riceberry, right?
I did.
I'm garnishing with a little bit of Thai lime leaves. And lastly, of course, to remind our friends, it's green curry. I'm gonna do a little torn Thai basil. And there it is. Laura, I will say bon appetit, French style. You could tell me in Italian style.
Yes, buon appetito. I'm sure this is gonna be amazing. Beyond. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. The jasmine rice is so fluffy and clean. The riceberry rice is a little bit nutty. The texture is different than the jasmine rice, so you're getting a little bit more texture there as well. But really, that's why I did one of each, so that you can kind of combine them all, and you get the fluffy jasmine rice and then the nutty, the berry rice. It's to die for. But this curry sauce, probably the best I've ever had. The best I've ever had, hands down.
I'm so happy right now.
Well, Jet, I can't thank you enough for teaching me how to make an amazing curry. Now I'm gonna clean up and I'm gonna show you how to make a bolognese that kind of tastes like Thai basil chicken with all the goodies you sent me. So let's get going. Holy hell, it's so good.